This Meshuggah broadcast is brought to you, well, actually, it's brought to you by me, Dr. Matthew G. Ferris, the Back Doctor. My office is located off of Linden Road in the Stonebridge Professional Center for a chiropractic treatment you can't refuse. My phone number, area code 810-233-0699.
White rooster scratching in the failing sun. What he's searching for, he ain't telling no one. Hold on. Brown rooster scratching, scratching all night long, scratching in the evening when the shadows are gone. Oh Lord, black rooster scratching in the blue moonlight, all while he's dodging from the devil at night. Oh Lord, red rooster scratches and sings a wordless song. He's crying in the morning when the shadows are long. Can't let no devil, can't let no devil, can't let no devil take me down where it's warm. Digging in the dirt, Lord, under a hard sun. But what he's digging for, he can't tell no one. Oh Lord, old rooster scratching, digging down in a hole, looking for lost souls that are stuck down below. And I've got my mind on all of my good friends that's gone. Can't let no devil take me down where it's warm. Can't let no devil, can't let no devil, can't let no devil take me down where it's warm. Well, I got my mind on where the water is clear. Gonna let that good Lord wash me right out of here. Oh Lord, 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 Lord. Can't let no devil, can't let no devil, can't let no devil take me down where it's warm. I got my mind on where the water is clear. Gonna let that good Lord wash me right out of here.
You're listening to WKUFLP Flint 94.3 FM. This is The Boon at Noon. The music you just heard was by Sweet Willie T, our interview this afternoon. Thank you for joining us. I'm Major Boondoggle.
And I'm Dr. Jeff. How are you?
Major Boondoggle Report is brought to you by Sunrise Coast Cigar Lounge on Miller Road in the Valley Plaza and STS E-Waste Recyclers, 810-496-3881. Well, Willie, what inspired that song that we just heard?
Oh, you're listening to a rooster scratching, right? And
Right.
That's, I was camping in a place called Stock Island, which is down in the Florida Keys, and there are roosters all over the Keys. And I woke up in the I wasn't aware of this till I woke up in the morning, crawled out of my tent, and there was a rooster staring me in the face, a black and red rooster, pecking at the ground.
Well, it was going
I thought he was going to peck me, is what I.
to spur you.
Something, but he was pecking at the ground. I looked, and then there was a brown rooster and a white rooster, all just kind of. And roosters don't usually hang out together. They're kind of adversarial. Hang out with the chickens, but not with other roosters.
Right.
These
Sounds
guys,
familiar.
Yeah, these guys are all hanging out together, and I wondered to myself, what the heck is he pecking at the ground for? And then a light just came on and said, wow, he knows what he's pecking at the ground for. It's the rest of us, we don't understand what's going on with roosters. And that sort of led to the song. And it's all about you'd have to listen to the song. I'm not sure what it's about really, but it's about roosters.
So you're outside,
You wrote it.
outside of your tent. You're outside of your tent in the Keys. It's early morning. The roosters are pecking at the ground. You pick up your banjo, your guitar, and start playing for the roosters. And how did they like that?
You know, the roosters didn't care so much for it, but there was a huge iguana there that stayed most of the day.
Oh, just on a hot rock, listening to
Yeah,
some
yeah,
good
actually.
blues.
Was he throwing any tips your way? Mostly about car
No,
insurance.
He just stared at me. No, that's he's bigger than he was. He was this big.
He was
on
that
the
big.
radio.
That was
He was this
very
big.
big. That was very big.
I'm holding up my hands really big right now.
Yes,
Yeah.
like the fish that
It's
got
about
away.
36
That's
inches.
big.
It was huge.
So you spent some time in the Keys, and that inspired. What else inspires your work?
Oh,
Yeah, so many
all
things.
the
huh?
all the good things that have happened to me during my life.
All the
and
good things
the ba-
inspire blues.
and all the bad things that have happened.
Are
to
you
me.
all blues, or you do upbeat stuff? You do everything,
Oh,
don't
yeah,
you?
I do a lot of different things. I mean, it's hard to get inspiration from one thing. You kind of,
Yeah.
sometimes just a couple of words will come to you. It will suggest a song, and then you'll sit on them for months and come back to them. Other times, it's like automatic writing. You'll just start, oh, hey, I'm feeling something, and then a whole song will come.
Different
They're all-
inspiration.
different songs. They come in different ways.
And you're very versatile, what I know of your work. How many instruments do you play? How many at the same time?
Yeah, that was the other question I have. Is that you do for amusement? You do the one-man band, but you
Yes.
also have a multi-track recording studio.
Yeah, I have a small project studio, nothing fancy like you guys have here, but I have a project studio, and I play a lot. I play probably in order of technical ability. A guitar player primarily. When I was laid up for a while, and I learned to play the harmonica and the keyboards a bit when I was laid up, and when I started doing the one-man band act, then I learned how to play the drums with my feet. I'm not a very good drummer with the hands, but I'm pretty decent with the feet. And I like any good guitar player, I play some banjo and the mandolin, and I'm a big fan of slide on the cigar box guitars. That's been kind of fun.
And you built your own cigar boxes,
Yeah, yep. I built a couple of them. I've come across a couple of old ones.
How were the
And,
cigars before the music came?
Well, the cigars were not nearly as good as the cigars they have
Around
at this place here, because these are quality cigars. Most of my cigars were the 2-cent variety.
R.G. Dunn. Can I say that out loud?
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
So you've built some what do you call them? Banjos.
Well, yeah, they're I built the ones I'm using now. I'm using a 3-string cigar box guitar. I have an old 6-string cigar box guitar, and I play a single string cigar box diddly bow. as a regular part of the act.
Okay.
And then guitars.
Does everything to do with Bo Diddley?
Ukuleles.
Both
and- yeah.
pertaining to your poetry, music, songwriting, and the instruments that you play. I want to repeat Major Boondoggle's question. Talk about inspiration for these things a little bit more. That's really fascinating. Something that'll stick in your head for a while. Something that flows like automatic writing.
But one of the things that's been that I've enjoyed doing, and this is a kind of a recent discovery, is the work of Dr. Ross. He was a Flint guy in the 50s and 60s, and he was a one-man band also, kind of similar to what I'm doing. He played a bass drum and a hi-hat, guitar and harmonica with a neck holder. They called Dr. Ross the harmonica boss. People look him up and find him. He's a great guy.
Okay.
He kind of. I came to him later in life. Actually, I wasn't aware of him until after he had passed away, and got turned on to his music. Realized he was doing a one-man band act, and then I was doing one too. So I said, "Wow, this guy's from Flint." He's actually from Mississippi. He moved up to Flint to work in a shop, but that kind of inspired me to learn some of his material and do the stuff he was doing. Another source of inspiration was on one of the other trips down south. I got laid over in an airport, a flight delay, and the guy sitting next to me had a guitar case. And after an hour or two, I got up the courage to ask him what was in the case. And he said, "Well, I'm not really a guitar player, but I make cigar box guitars. You want to see?"
Holy moly!
You want to see?
Yeah, exactly. He opened them. He got up. He had two of them in there, and he and I sat and played on his cigars. It's the first time I'd ever seen one. Played on his little cigar boxes for an hour or two until the flights left. Then when I got back home, I started looking at the history of cigar box guitars. They go back to Civil War era. They were very common back then. I tell people the story when I'm performing. After the Civil War, people began to make instruments out of whatever they could find because the country was kind of messed up.
I imagine a washboard.
Yeah, washboard. And the first ones to come out were like cigar box banjos, cigar box fiddles, violins, made of cigar boxes.
Kind of going
guitars.
jug band, are we going?
Yeah, exactly.
A little
Yes, exactly. And
Well,
they kind of
people without money.
yeah, and I realized that, and if you look now,
So
there's a
significant
huge
history.
Oh yeah, and there's a huge subculture now of people rediscovering that sort of
grassroots type thing.
roots Americana music, and a lot of cigar box players. The cigar boxes in the last 4 years have gone from, I'd never seen one before. I think it was maybe it would have been 2002. I think I first got stuck in the airport with that fella. But in the last 4 years, they're popping up everywhere.
So cigar boxes go back 150 or so years. And what goes into making one of these things? Can you describe that process a little bit? What
Cigar box.
just one, I presume.
Yes, one. Well, there's two different schools. One would be you take a modern guitar neck and guts, and instead of the wooden body, you just put a box on it. That's what you'll see a lot of, and say,
Too
"Oh,
easy.
I play this cigar box guitar, but it's really just an electric guitar.
Too
and
easy.
instead of a board, it's got a cigar box."
Now, when you tune those, do you tune them for the untrained, so they can just play like basic chords up and down, or do you tune them as individual strings?
The ones I'm playing, I do two different ways. One is tuned like a standard guitar, and I'll play. It's a 6-string cigar box, but it's tuned like a guitar. The ones that have fewer strings, a lot of times you'll tune them to an open chord, just like you would tune open tuning on if you're playing slide guitar.
Yeah.
You tune them the same way. The 3-string, like the one I play the most is a 3-string, and it's actually 2 octave strings, and then a third above that. So it's like
And
2
you made
E's and
this
G sharp.
yourself.
Yeah.
made it
Now,
into
to make a real one, rather than electric guitar guts and put them in, you just take a box. You can put a stick through it.
Like a broomstick?
Yeah, exactly. My diddly bow is just exactly that. It's a broomstick, a cigar box that has hole drilled in each end. The stick goes through it. You put the wire on both ends of the stick, prop something up on the bridge to elevate the string off the body of the box, and just pluck on it.
Huh.
They're not very loud, but if you think back to when they were first coming up with these things, you were sitting in a very quiet place. You
Little
were
club.
out in the country or somewhere, and
front porch.
it didn't. Yeah, your front porch, right? It didn't have to be very loud.
Yeah,
I put-
otherwise you drowned out the jug blower.
So there,
Exactly. That's right.
back to Dr. Ross. There's a significant history to the music as well that's played on these instruments.
Well, Doc was a he played this regular guitar. He played the guitar actually upside down, which is kind of unusual, but
Why's that?
Left-handed.
yeah, left-handed. Yeah.
Oh,
But
okay.
he wasn't a cigar box player. He played a regular
Yeah.
regular guitar.
Couldn't he just have restrung it?
Beats me. I guess he could have.
Well, I was just thinking because I mean, if you string them backwards, then you can play it left-handed.
You know, I wish I'd have met the fella in order to ask him questions like that.
I don't know. Somebody's been wanting to teach me how to play guitar for quite a long time. They're a left-handed person, so
That could be awkward.
you're right-handed, I take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, he's left-handed and he plays guitar pretty all right.
Does he just flip the guitar and play the strings upside down, or is he?
I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure on that.
You know, with the cigar boxes, the other instruments you play, and you play in a circuit around Michigan and other places, and you've played in some juried competitions over the years and done very well, I understand.
Yeah, I did okay actually.
Yeah.
I was at the International Blues Challenge in Memphis. I've been down there twice in 2011 and in 2000 again in 2013. I was a semifinalist both years I went down there. I should put a plug in for it. Memphis in February during the International Blues Challenge is an incredible place to be because there are 200 artists from all over the world, representatives of each of the blues societies all over the world. They'll send a band and a solo artist, each blues society does, and there are about 200 in Memphis on that particular weekend, and the acts switch over every half an hour in a dozen different clubs. So you can, if you go to Memphis for it's called the IBC.
I can also
in
imagine
it's a blast.
loose
It's a
groups
blast.
of individuals getting together here and there in the hotel
A lot
hallways.
of
and just playing and
Exactly.
and eating and drinking and having a good time.
a lot of
So,
a
huh.
lot of open after the end of the evening's judging, because everybody's played their set, and then you hang around, and then there are tons of just open jams, and you'll get people from all over the world.
And
It's really cool.
conversations
Really cool.
about
Oh,
about
yeah.
music, about work.
Yep, I made a lot of friends.
Yeah.
It's a huge networking opportunity. There are, aside from scouts from festivals and stuff like that, people come to see the acts. There are just a ton of musicians that, what people I don't think realize a lot of the time is musicians don't get much opportunity to hang out together to perform together because we're all working at the same time. You know, when you got to work Friday night, you got to work Saturday night. All your peers are also working Friday night and Saturday night. The only time you might see them is at some open mic night somewhere if you come across them.
Or a festival, local festival.
Yeah. So, but the IBC is great for that because everybody's.
How was the
around
barbecue
with it.
down there? You're
The
laughing.
barbecue's good. Barbecue's good. The other thing is really good. If you get down there, you can get a deep fried hamburger.
That
So,
sounds all right to me.
Not
Back
healthy.
With pickles.
back up here to Michigan.
Yes.
In your studio that you have, have you produced anybody in there? Have you had any acts come in that you've recorded?
Yeah. The most recent project we just finished. We're not sure if it's going to be a 4-song or a 2-song EP because the jury's still out on whether they want to release them all at once. But there's a young lady from Flint named Jenna Noel and a fella on the percussion, Dan Garrix.
Uh-huh.
That should be coming out here in the next couple of weeks. 'Cause we
Just
finished
lyrics and
tracking.
drums?
Singing. She's a singer and guitar player, and
Okay.
Dan Garrix plays the percussion.
Very interesting.
Really nice sound. He's real talented young gal.
Oh, correct me, Willie, if I'm wrong. You've also done some research and considerable other archiving of musicians in Flint. There's one fellow in particular I'm thinking of whose work you've admired, and I'm talking about Floyd. Has there been
The legendary Floyd Dones.
Have you made a significant attempt to archive his work?
Yeah, actually, I'm glad you brought that up because Floyd is really talented. He's, I guess he's some 80-some years young right now, and
About
he is
89.
Yeah, he has played in every state in the union, I believe, and I think all the provinces in Canada. He toured for years and years.
Wow.
He also was a one-man band, a little bit different than what I was doing. in Floyd, what Floyd did, he played the guitar, and he, years and years, decades ahead of his time, he took a drum machine out of an old organ. If you remember the old console organs,
Right.
he took the drum machine
Wurlitzer
out.
console.
Yeah, exactly. And just before we had drum machines, separate, he took it out and had it with him. He took a reel-to-reel tape recorder, put a loop on it, so that he could do a sound-on-sound recording, much like Les Paul was doing back in the 50s and 60s. Floyd was doing that same thing here during that same period of time, and playing as a single act. He's a songwriter and guitarist at the time. He's a piano player.
You've
mostly
made
now.
some effort to record his life, and his work.
Yep, he's done. We did a couple of songs in the studio that we finished for him because he wanted to have. It's kind of funny because he had some that were the only record he had of them were LP or 45s that he had done back in the 60s, and he brought those 45s in, and we basically re-recorded the songs.
I saw something a couple of Christmases ago about the children and.
Yeah, he's done. We did a single with 2 songs on it, and you're gonna challenge me on the name of the tracks.
That's all right.
Just the fact that you're putting that music out there, and you've got some other locals happening with you.
Oh, yeah.
You're archiving history. You went back into the history of Doc Ross.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was fortunate to meet David Boyd, who was Doc's manager, and he was very supportive of me. Encouraged me to go ahead and do what Doc was doing.
So,
you're doing fine. So
paint us a picture of your recording studio, because we've only got a few minutes left in the interview here.
okay, well, for those of you that know the buzzwords, I have Universal Audio 610 preamps, UA 1176 compressor, which is a very nice thing.
Does that come with a couple of sides?
Oh man, it's delicious. It's delicious. I have 24 tracks to digital and a Kai system. I actually have 2 of them that are synced together, so I can do 48 tracks, which I never had that many tracks, but usually 24 is plenty. And
I hear the train
just
coming.
usually
What do you have for microphones in the studio?
Oh man, my favorite one right now is SM7B, which is
Really?
an inexpensive
The Shure?
microphone, but it's a great mic. Just a great mic for my voice, for one reason or another. I have a nice Universal Audio. They don't make them anymore. There's a mic called a Sputnik, which is large diameter condenser microphone. I kind of like that one.
Asking a musician about microphones sounds like asking a poet about pens and pencils.
I'd like to tell
what do
you
use
about
in your work?
the Royers and.
Do you have a
all the
drum
better
shelter in there?
Yeah, I got 3 rooms: a live room, an isolation booth, a vocal booth, and then a control room. So we have the
Okay.
drum set up in the live room, and
All right.
not a big. You call it conservative, a project studio.
Look,
Okay.
look down the road, Willie, at the future. 10 years, 50 years from now, what legacy do you want to leave?
I'd like to still be around in 50 years, but that might be pushing my luck.
Maybe not. Would-
Medicine is advancing.
But
more.
off to your children and grandchildren and the future of the music that you do. What do you want people to know and learn and grow from?
You know what? I'd like to think that I'll leave behind a body of work. That the lyrics mean something.
That's better than saying a pretty corpse.
A little bit.
I'd like to leave behind a body.
He did say a body. Yeah.
Yes, but no, a body of work. I write songs about stuff that inspires me for one reason or other, and I don't fancy myself to be the world's greatest instrumentalist or singer or musician, but I like performing a lot. I have a long background in theater, and when I
that
do
piece
songs,
about
I
the
have something to
Roosters is
say.
incredible.
Thanks,
Not only
thanks.
the backstory, but the music itself, incredibly good. And often I'll ask people, like, how significant are the acts of your life going to be in 50, 100 years? Let's put this in perspective. And you do have a legacy to leave behind.
How far away is your music?
How far away is it?
Yeah, how
from-
far away is it populated from your place?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess a good chunk of the U.S. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of me overseas. I guess that should be my next
Circulation
goal.
over there. You should send some. You should send some promo onlys to like Virgin Radio and other places.
I should. Well, the internet reaches everywhere, and I'm sure this show has got an extended reach. So right now, I'm thinking it's a lot farther than it was
If you can make
earlier
it in
today.
Beijing, you can make it anywhere.
Yeah, we're like the.
If I could just get to Hong Kong, we'd be okay.
Just have them rip your music off.
Steal it. Go ahead, steal it. You have my
steal it.
anybody. You have my permission to
There you
steal
go.
it.
You
Just
heard it here first.
tell them who the artist was.
Put it up on the Pirate Bay.
Yes, yes.
Let's set sail with the pirate cassette tape flag.
You guys are kind of pirate radio right here, aren't you?
We sort of are
I think
almost.
so. I think so.
WKUF is a itty bitty little radio station that has no rules for real.
Actually,
big
we're
heart.
recording somewhere in the middle of Lake Michigan at an undisclosed location on a little raft with Gilligan and the rest.
Yeah, actually, we're recording at Sunrise Coast Cigar Lounge. Sunrise Coast brings you the Boone at Noon Boondoggle Report. Join the Boondoggle Report on Wednesdays from 4 to 7 p.m. with Major Boondoggle, and
Dr. Jeff.
I'm glad you caught that one.
I did.
So
I was
we
leaning
are
away from the mic.
26 minutes into the interview of an otherwise 30-minute interview today.
You guys are good. You're keeping track of the time and everything.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we have to. But you see, with the Boondoggle Report, we're relaxed. What happens. So, I mean,
And it brought to you entirely drug-free.
Yeah, listeners don't know, but they don't see the huge on-air sign that's flashing and the clock that's counting down the seconds on the wall.
Oh, yes.
He keeps glancing at it furtively.
well, as Tom Sumner said when he was a DJ at WKUF from the WKUF Towers at Kettering University. Well,
I think we should call it the glass booth.
I think it was the basement, more like, wasn't it?
Pretty much.
it is in the basement, actually.
But
That's
there's a lounge right outside the door.
yeah. Actually, yeah, we have 2 green rooms.
We have access to all the Pepsi we can pay for.
Oh, actually, there's no Pepsi in there. It's only Coca-Cola product.
I was thinking down at the
Oh yeah, that's terrible. Anyway,
I have no idea.
whatever.
I
Back
buy stuff
back to
upstairs.
reality. So,
we got about 4 more minutes.
what do you? Yeah, we do. What do you listen to when you're in the car?
Me, I tell you what, I love listening to old blues music.
Good. That sounded
particularly-
vain for a second when you said me. I listen to me.
Well, I listen to myself too. No, that's hard. Actually, listening to yourself is hard to do. Listening to other people, I really enjoy Delta blues music, Sun House, and you know,
Tell me the
guys
story of Robert Johnson, Delta Blues. Did he really go to the crossroads and swap his
I believe
soul?
he really went to the crossroads. I believe he really did a lot of wood shedding when he was there, which meaning
Wood
guitar player-
shedding?
Yeah, go up behind the woodshed and practice that thing till you can play it right, then come back. And
I have a feeling at the crossroads he dropped on his knees and just asked, "Please let me learn how to play this."
I promise I'll practice every day.
Huh. Interesting. Well, you know what they say: if you don't practice with criticism, you sound terrible.
Which comes back to listening to yourself. When you listen to yourself, you're critiquing it. You're wanting to make it better and better.
It is painful. It is painful.
What is it like the last time you listened to yourself? What stood out as something that you really liked?
That I really liked about myself.
About your own music, yeah. I don't want to ask what you didn't like because that you can.
That
you can
list
always
is
go there.
long.
Yeah, that critique.
Here's a question I have for you before we run out of time.
Yeah, go ahead.
Was there ever a point when you're building this big studio that you thought, "Oh my God, this is just not going to work"?
No. At that point, I was recovering from an injury, and I just gotten back to being able to play the guitar again. I was laid
Okay.
off for about a year. I couldn't play, and at that point, my hand was getting back to working, and there was nothing that was going to stand in my way at that point. So
Oh, good.
I didn't know if I was going to be able to afford it. Now that's a different question.
Yeah.
but I was not going to be denied.
I've built a fairly good sized production for television station and I've turned a house into it.
Yeah.
I've turned
We'll do TV next.
we could do TV.
I'll
We do,
dress nicer, I promise.
well, yeah, for our listeners, you look like a farmer.
It's a Tennessee tuxedo.
Bib overalls.
Thank you. I like
1 minute remaining.
I got a flannel shirt on too.
And a hat that says Blues Foundation.
I'm a member of the International Blues
Green hat
Foundation.
that says Blues Foundation.
It's green. I try to be green in all the things I do.
I was thinking blues should be blue, but
Interesting.
That's
well,
the point.
that's U of M go blue, right?
You
We
can
have to
tell we're
wrap
running
up.
out of time,
Not
aren't we?
go blues, yeah.
we have to sign off, everybody. It's been another half hour.
Thanks for being
Boone
here,
at
brother.
noon.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. You've been listening to the Boondoggle Report, Boone at Noon, brought to you by Sunrise Coast Cigar Lounge and STS E-Waste Recyclers, 810-496-3881. I'm Major Boondoggle.
And I'm Dr. Jeff. See you in the funny papers.
Thank you guys for listening again on WKUF LP Flint 94.3 FM.